First and foremost, we wanted to make sure that young people understood that their voice is very important and needs to be heard by community leaders when it comes to community matters. And so we wanted to take a really wide approach to addressing some issues and some opportunities that already exist in Great Falls. About 6 months ago, I was approached by Mayor Kelly and City Commissioner Mary Moe, and they had actually approached a number of individuals in the community who are coordinating young professional networks or groups. So that includes Connect Great Falls, which is an affinity group of United Way of Cascade County, Leadership Great Falls, which is a part of the Chamber of Commerce, and then Shannon Newth, who runs the 5 Under 35 program, and they really wanted to address this idea that we need to start engaging and recruiting and really keeping young people in the community. And it really started with this question of, if young people had the keys to the city, what would they like to see changed? And what would they like to see as a perfect Great Falls? So that's how it really started. And so that committee actually has been meeting for about 6 months now, and just really building a structure and planning a really action-based forum. We decided to do a forum so that we could capture as large of an audience as we could. And we also understood that without kind of an outline and a guide to how the night would go, we realized that the structure, it might be really unstructured and there might be some outcomes that we don't want. And so we decided to kind of build an outline for the overall group, but then have little breakout sessions, because we realize that there are people who probably don't want to speak up in large groups, but their voice is as important as everyone else's. And so we decided that we'll have a large conversation, but then we'll also have smaller group conversations and then report back to the large group.
So I have not been a part of the group from the beginning. I have been working with the committee now for about a month. About a month ago, Mayor Kelly and City Commissioner Moe approached me about facilitating this event, because the committee had determined that a forum would be a great opportunity for the voices to be heard. So they wanted somebody to help lead that conversation and help guide it and structure it, as Libby was saying, with big conversation, but also small, intimate group conversations. So they approached me, and then I recruited a friend of mine, Heather Palermo, who will be facilitating it with me. And we will be there to primarily listen, but to also engage members of our young community to feel like they have a voice and can be heard. And so hoping to inspire that conversation, guide it and lead it in different ways, but really just provide that opportunity for the listening session to take place. So I think the main part will be setting that tone and intention at the beginning, and just making sure that everybody in the room is there for the same reason, and that's to be heard, but also to bring forth ideas that can make Great Falls better, build upon what we're already doing well, but then find areas of maybe weaknesses or barriers and come up with solutions. So we want it to be very result and solution driven in tone, as opposed to being just a complaining session about maybe what isn't happening the way that our young community wants it to happen right now.
Yes, so we've actually already reached into the community to try to understand what we would like to achieve for this forum. So we've built a survey, and we've gotten 160 responses, so we've gotten a really positive response rate for it. And we built topics that will be discussed. Yeah, so we are actually hoping that this will be one in a small series of forums, so that we can continue to build on the topics that we really focused on in each forum, and eventually create a really solid action plan to make Great Falls a better place for everyone to live and work. So those are the real, that's the real general goal of the forum and the series. But we also want to ensure that everything is being addressed. So if something isn't being addressed in the first forum, we want to make sure that we can continue the conversations. And we also want to identify a number of people who are attending to be a part of actually a steering committee to put some plans into action.
It needs to be very action-oriented and result-driven, and coming up with plans for implementation. This first forum is really going to be listening and that first step into creating that conversation, and then as we move forward, continuing to build on that conversation in the areas that we see as being priority.
Invite anyone to come who is interested. We just ask that the focus be on those 40 and under professionals.